ladies and gentlemen, very, very good morning. It's indeed a great pleasure, privilege, and honor, and a great delight to have the luminaries from the globe at the ACM MobiCom 2018 conference inaugural ceremony. Before we start the proceedings for the day, a small token of our deep appreciation for all the leading lights over here who've come in spite of the extremely busy schedule. We know how busy you are, sirs. But therefore, we are indeed very indebted to you and delighted that you could make it today. May I request Rohan to hand over mementos to our VIPs? A very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen who gathered here from all parts of the world. As I mentioned earlier, it's a great honor to be here on the stage. First, thanks, of course, to the steering committee for having given us this daunting task of being the general co-chairs of ACM MobiCom 2018. We took it very seriously and made sure that we have the leading lights and, as we call it, the gurus in their own areas who kindly spare the time of being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here again today. I'd like to briefly introduce our guests of honor this morning. They do not need an introduction, but I think it's fair enough because we have an audience from all over the globe. The only friends who could not make it were people from Pakistan, although I must appreciate the wonderful help we got from Ministry of Home Affairs, External Affairs, and the Ministry of Electronics and IT. We had all the approvals, but there were delays in visas, but that was another story. It's a pleasure to introduce the Honorable Minister of Justice, Law, Justice, Electronics and Information Technology, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. Mr. Prasad needs no introduction in the world, the digital world, and I'll come to that in a short while from now. It's indeed a great pleasure to have Mr. Mukesh Ambani, who again needs no introduction to global audiences. He's the Chairman, Reliance Industries, and a keynote speaker this morning. Thank you, sir, for accepting the keynote talk. It's indeed an honor again, a great pleasure to have Dr. Narayana Murthy, the founder of Infosys. Now, Dr. Narayana Murthy, again, the world of technology, in the world of philanthropy and altruism needs no introduction, the leading light in the country. We're also delighted that Mr. Ajay, Sawhney, the Secretary of the Ministry of Electronics and IT, kindly agreed to be at the function. Thank you, sir. And it's also a great honor to have one of the senior most professors of networking, communications, in India, Professor Huzur Saran. He's a very senior professor of computer science and engineering at IIT Delhi. Welcome, Professor Saran, and thanks so much for your stellar support in ACM MobiCom. We're extremely grateful for your presence, sir, and we will now invite you to deliver your address. Now, the first address, I'm going to request Dr. Narayana Murthy to come on the stage to deliver his address. Dr. Narayana Murthy founded Infosys in 1981 and forever changed entrepreneurship in India. Under him, Infosys led the path for India to become known world over in information technology, established new standards for ethical practices and disclosures of business, became the first company to offer stock options in India, and was the first Indian company to be listed on NASDAQ. To us in India, he's truly the father and the doyen of the Indian IT industry. Among the many honors and doctorates Dr. Murthy has received, he was listed as the 12 greatest entrepreneurs of our time by Fortune magazine, along with Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, and others. He's also a recipient of the second highest award in the country, the Padma Vibhushan. Received this honor from the government of India for his stellar services. Dr. Narayana Murthy. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Rajiv, for those kind words. I'm extremely grateful to the organizers for this opportunity. I feel honored to be here in Delhi amongst such a distinguished audience. I am glad to be here with Minister Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, Mr. Ajay Sawhney, and all of you. The Minister has been an evangelizer of mobile communications application in India. The Reliance Group under Mr. Mukesh Ambani's dynamic leadership has undergone significant transformation during the last 15 years. Reliance has contributed immensely to India's growth. In a span of 2 years since inception, Reliance Jio has scaled up to 252 million subscribers and is now among the world's largest mobile data networks. Reliance Jio has been ranked among the top 20 most innovative companies by Fast Company, an international business magazine. Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani, the originator of the Reliance Group, once famously remarked that he would like to make a phone call cheaper than a postcard. I must say his son has done that. Thanks to Sri Dhirubhai Ambani's vision, today in India, the cost of 1 gigabyte of data is approximately 4 cents and is opening up unprecedented access to the network. MobiCom conference is a prestigious international forum where the best minds in mobile computing and networking meet and share their knowledge. It is indeed an honor for all of us that this annual event is being held for the first time in India, thanks to Dr. Victor Ball. In the past, my family and my organization were enthusiastically involved and supported SOSP, SICOM, and NSDI, and I'm glad we are able to add our little value to MobiCom this year. I welcome the guests for this conference. My congratulations to Theresa Meng from Stanford for the Lifetime Achievement Award, to Kylie Jamison from Princeton for the Rock Star Award, and to Don Tousley from UMass Amherst and Victor Ball from Microsoft Research for the Test of Time Awards. Technological advances have made life more prosperous, productive, and comfortable for most people in the world. Technology has made healthcare, food, shelter, transportation, and education cheaper and more easily accessible, thus improving the lives of the poor. But technology has done something even more important. Technology has improved transparency, conquered distance, and class barriers, and has the potential to create a fair society and enhance the accountability of the rich, the powerful, and the elite to the poor and the disenfranchised in every society. Therefore, it brings hope, confidence, enthusiasm, and dignity to the poor. Confidence, hope, and dignity in the mind of every citizen are extremely important if a society wants to make sustained progress. This is what excites me most about technology. Let me tell you a story on how technology is a great leveler and can indeed enhance the dignity and confidence of the poor. It was 1995, and we had just installed our first ATM in the Bangalore campus of Infosys. After a few days, I was standing in line behind one of our janitors at our cafeteria, and I struck a conversation with him. I asked him whether he had used the new ATM. He became very excited, had a glint in his eye, and said that he was very, very happy to use it. He continued that the machine treated him exactly like it would treat a well-to-do and a powerful customer, which the bank teller most often did not. In other words, technology had acted as a great leveler and rose above class distinctions. It enhanced the janitor's dignity and his confidence in our society. Next day, he brought his children to show them the marvel of this machine. Therefore, adoption of technology is a very important instrument to fight social injustice and make life better and more dignified for the poor and the helpless. Mobile technology has tremendously improved the lives of millions of Indians. Opening a savings bank account or obtaining a mobile SIM card using Aadhaar verification takes less than 5 minutes. You and I know it. Combination of these factors have led to an exponential increase in digital financial transactions. A cab driver living in Bangalore can transfer money to his family's bank account 1,000 miles away in a flash. With only 27% of villages having banking services within 5 kilometers, mobile phone payment technology has become extremely relevant to the financial inclusion initiative in this country. Combination of Jan Dhan, the initiative of banking for all, and Aadhaar is making the delivery of services like public distribution system, that is the direct benefit transfer of subsidies, efficient and pilferage free. Another example is the IAP Immunize India. This is the world's largest vaccination mobile reminder service and is available free of cost to parents anywhere in the country. Vaccination reminders are sent to the registered mobile phone till the child attains an age of 12 years. 3 reminders are sent at 2-day intervals for each vaccination that is due. IAP Immunize India aims to prevent 100,000 child deaths and disabilities by 2020. Therefore, my friends, I believe that mobile technology can bring in much advances in education, healthcare, agriculture, public governance, and financial inclusion. As a compassionate capitalist, this is what excites me most about mobile technology. Let us remember the words of John Kennedy, that a society that cannot help many who are poor cannot save the few who are rich. A fair and just society embracing democracy and compassionate capitalism is the only sustainable model for the future. Therefore, I am hopeful that the idealism and the brilliance of the wonderful scientists and technologists assembled here would strive to enhance confidence, dignity, fairness, and equity in the world. With confidence and dignity, most people will try and achieve the plausibly impossible and cross class barriers. I wish this conference much success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Murthy. We have the pleasure of listening to you and interacting with you since the time we were students, and it's been wonderful learning all these years for all of us. Not just I, Rohan, but for most of us in the country. Thank you, sir, so much. I'll now go to request in the inaugural session. This is the inaugural session for the benefit of all those who came late. I'm now going to request the Secretary of the Government to India, the Ministry of Electronics and IT, Mr. Ajay Sawhney, to share with the audience his thoughts. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Ajay Sawhney. Thank you.
Respected Union Minister for Law and Justice, Electronics and IT, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji. Respected Shri Narayana Murthy, Shri Mukesh Ambani ji, Professor Huzur Saran, dignitaries who are here from all over the globe, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here for the 24th, the ACM MobiCom 2018. It's a wonderful time for this prestigious conference to come to India. I think in the past few years, we have seen tremendous use of IT for the common man. This is something which our Honorable Prime Minister, our Honorable Minister are extremely passionate about, that whatever benefits are there from technology, they reach each and everyone in the country. I think the spread of networks, the spread of mobile phones across the country has been achieved at a very scorching pace. As was being mentioned, data availability is spreading rapidly. Data is now available at something like 4 cents per gigabyte. Almost all data that you can consume at 5 to 6 cents per day is available across the length and breadth of the country. More and more families are coming in, and we believe that the next wave will take fiber to homes and bring in all that are still out of this data revolution. As India moves forward, we are seeing a combination of strength in software development, joining up with a large number of people who are into design of new systems and devices, and a growing momentum in electronic manufacturing. Along with this, we have an excellent cohort of startups, of incubation centers. And as the new technologies come in, I think we are seeing a very large number, unprecedented in scale and size, of new technologies that will have a very deep impact. Data analytics, machine learning, deep learning, all aspects of AI, additive manufacturing, drones, robotics, blockchain, AR and VR. I think all of these technologies are coming in, and we are seeing computing move out of the virtual world into the real world as IoT comes in very rapidly. And this, coupled with the strengths we have here in India, represents a tremendous opportunity, an opportunity to solve problems that were practically impossible to solve even a few years ago, to overcome barriers that have proven very difficult to overcome. For instance, any challenge becomes an opportunity. And in India, one of our small challenges among many is the large number of languages which have remained a barrier to communication across different parts of India. Suddenly, with the coming in of all of these technologies, we have an opportunity within 3, 4, 5 years to actually overcome those barriers, to create new devices, new systems, and that is where innovation happens, and I think India is extremely well poised for these. It's my pleasure to see the ACM MobiCon happen in India at this point of time, and I believe this is the coming together of some of the best people in technology into a location where we should see tremendous innovation happening in the near future. Once again, my very warm welcome to all of you, and I hope this conference is a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Ajay Sawhney, for sharing your thoughts with us. It is a great pleasure and honor to now invite the Honorable Minister of the Government, Honorable Union Minister of the Government of India, to deliver the conference inaugural address. As I said earlier, the Minister needs no introduction. He's a mind in the country. He's the Prime Minister, he works very closely with the Prime Minister in enabling large number of schemes, large number of areas under the Digital India program. Let me, for the benefit of those who've come from all over the globe, take this opportunity to formally introduce the Honorable Minister. Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad is a lawyer and Minister for Law and Justice as well as Electronics and Information Technology for the Government of India. Shri Prasad spearheads the Critical Digital India initiative. The Digital India is a campaign launched by the Government of India to ensure the government services are made available to citizens electronically by improved online infrastructure and by increasing internet connectivity or by making the country digitally empowered in the field of technology. The initiative includes plans to connect rural areas with high-speed internet networks. Digital India consists of 3 core components. 1, the development of secure and stable digital infrastructure. 2, delivering government services digitally. And 3, universal digital literacy. May I request the Honorable Minister to deliver the conference inaugural address. Thank you all very much.
Mr. Narayana Murthy, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, Professor Sharan, IT Secretary Ajay Sawhney, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to India, all the delegates who have come from abroad, to this ACM extraordinary conference where mobile networking and research is going to be debated by you extraordinary minds of the globe and of India. Enjoy your stay. India is a country of great diversity and also of great enthusiasm. But India of late has become a country of great technological empowerment too. I hope you all are aware that India's IT industry gave their footprint on the global landscape, hoisting India's capabilities in 200 cities of 80 countries. And the two doins of that initiative, Mr. Narayana Murthy and Mr. Mukesh Ambani, today are present on the stage. One has already spoken, the other will follow. India's IT worth is $168 billion in revenue terms, $125 billion also in export terms. But the digital profile of India is a clear statement of networking as far as mobile technology is concerned. A population of 1.3 billion India is home to only 121 billion mobile phones. Nearly 450 million smartphones. How much of this Mukesh Ambani controls, I leave it to him to explain. A population of 1.30 billion is home to 1.22 billion Aadhaar card, verifiable digital identity, backed by a parliamentary law with due regard to privacy, and nearly 500 million internet. As Mr. Narayana Murthy rightly pointed out, the way mobile data is rising in the country, access. And when the whole world was debating access, net neutrality, earlier handling the communication portfolio of India, I made a statement in the parliament that right to access of internet is not negotiable. The second point I articulated was, if internet is an extraordinary invention of extraordinary global mind, it is also a property owned by every individual of the globe. And if internet has to become truly global, it must have linkage with the local ideas, local culture, local needs. And from these premises came the extraordinary program of Digital India. Ladies and gentlemen, what is Digital India? Digital India is basically designed to empower ordinary Indians with the power of technology. In very simple terms, he must have delivery of services at hand. He must have the opportunity to become digitally literate. An Indian staying in the remote part of a village or in the capital of India must have governance in the palm of his hand through a mobile. That is the basic contours and philosophy of Digital India. And the second most important, Digital India must be based upon technology which is affordable, inclusive and developmental, low cost. And lastly, all this must lead to digital inclusion. You have just heard Narayana Murthy articulating about million banks account, the Jan Dhan. We opened 320 million bank account of the poor, 32 crores, who had no access to bank account. Link that with Aadhaar, verifiable digital identity to supplement the physical identity. And started transferring all the entitlement of the welfare measures to the poor. Do you know how much we have saved? 90,000 crores, close to $13 billion, which used to be pocketed by middlemen and fictitious claimants. And let me supplement what Mr. Narayana Murthy just stated. Digital governance is good governance. Digital delivery is faster delivery. It eliminates the middlemen and fictitious claimants. That's how we are bringing in digital inclusion. A lot of my friends have come from abroad. India's Aadhaar system is being talked about globally. Let me very briefly tell you what this Aadhaar is about. This is my Aadhaar card. It contains my photograph, my name, my permanent address. What it does not contain, my religion, my economic condition, my medical record, my sexual preferences, and a whole range of others by which you can be profiled. But what the system contains is my biometrics, iris, by which your digital identity is confirmed. And the system, in every 3 seconds, authenticates 30 million requests. That's the low-cost technology. And this whole storage is encrypted, safe and secure. Therefore, the World Bank also today is appreciating our these initiatives. Now, from e-health, hospitals you can book your line, to farmers being exposed to a national agriculture market where they can negotiate the price of their crop to get the best buy, to e-visa, to e-scholarship, where students are getting thousands of crores, billions of dollars in terms of their national scholarship profile, digitally identified at a click of a button, to a whole range of other digital services which other companies from pension to others are offering. I know Mr. Ambani's network is offering a lot of services. Others are also offering a lot of services. Today, India's story of digital inclusion through mobile technology is finding global resonance. Let me share you this. I'm also amazed as to how ordinary Indians are getting empowered by smartphones. In the rural village also, the preference is now of smartphone. A farmer can negotiate what is the position of the weather. He has got a proper farmer digital card by which he can see has he over-fertilized his crops. From e-health. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we have made Digital India also a mass movement. We have got a digital kiosk known as Common Service Center. Total number 300,000. In hinterland of India, 200,000. They are giving 300 digital delivery of services. From soil health card, to PAN card, to passport, to railway ticketing, to insurance, to banking. What Mr. Narayana talked about. I'm amazed to see the passion of Indians for technology and the overpowering commitment of our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, who has been a visionary as far as application of technology is concerned, that governance for Indians must be available in his palm. And that's how transformation is taking place. I just wanted to give you one data. The average mobile data consumption per users per month has grown by more than 1,680% between June 2014 and June 2017, in just 3 years' time. And we are very conscious of data. A population of this huge proportion will generate a lot of data. And we are equally concerned that while we are willing to permit use of data, we are willing to join the global race as far as data analysis is concerned, but we are equally concerned the consent of the citizen and data sovereignty is equally maintained. And therefore, we are going to come with a proper data protection law, which is a work in progress. And we are keen that in conjunction with mobile governance in which India has played a role, data analysis, data analytic should also grow in India. But most important, inclusive character of digital India would remain the focus. And therefore, I am talking in this extraordinary Congress. I wish to compliment all Indian mobile operators in the manner in which they have brought content in local Indian languages. There is a study, including by Google, that nearly half of Indian mobile operations, there is an inclination to have it in local languages. And what I would like to flag in this Congress is, that when you are talking of computing networking, mobile networking, you must focus on local content. You must focus on local languages, not only in India, but globally. Because mobile today has become a tool of empowerment, not only of ordinary Indian, but ordinary national of any country. That is something which we owe to the ordinary member of this globe. I just wanted to tell you some of the study in this regard. India accounts for 10% of global smartphone sales. According to International Data Corporation, 39 million smartphones were sold between July and September 2017. more than 21% in the last year. And what is important is, when there was a global trend of decline, yet India bucked that trend. Today, India is only second to China as far as mobile phone subscribers are concerned. It's likely to grow to 500 million in the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years. And we in India are also promoting in a big way mobile manufacturing. We had only 2 factories when we came to power in 2014. Mr. Narayana Murthy, as the Minister of Electronics, let me inform you, today India is home to 127 mobile factory making mobile phones in different parts of India. That is how giving rise to millions of Indians to work, apart from other electronics. Digital payment is rising in India in a very phenomenal manner. And only one data I would like to share, and that is indeed a very, very interesting data, ladies and gentlemen. And that data clearly shows that the rise of digital payment is indeed a phenomenal experience. Just to tell you, we have launched a BHIM app, again a low-cost technology produced by India. In September 2018, that means hardly 1 year, few months, transaction of 163 lakh transaction of value of 7,065 crore. That means 70.65 billion rupees were generated. Today, digital payment has become the new fancy in India. Likely to become almost, there is a study that more than 500 billion worth of revenue worth of business opportunity in the coming 3 to 4 years. Therefore, what is the whole profile? From digital delivery of services, we are making 60 million Indians digitally literate, out of which nearly 10 millions have already become. And who are they? Poor people in the hinterland. So from digital delivery of services to digital literacy to digital empowerment, from e-health to e-scholarship to e-pension to e-hospital to e-education. That's what we have looked forward towards India. But also creating extraordinary business opportunity. And what we are trying to work all together is to scale India's digital enterprise to a $1 trillion economy in the coming 3 to 4 years. When I talk of digital economy, I mean obviously communication and IT in the conventional sense. I mean digital payment. E-commerce is booming in India. New technology from AI to artificial intelligence. My department has set up a lot of areas, centers of excellence in this field. 5G technology is being worked out by the ministry. And other innovators like Mr. Ambani and others are equally innovating new technology to further add new capability to their mobile delivery of services. We have launched an Umang app. And what is that? 1,200 government services must be available in the palm at a click of a button. About 300 have been loaded and nearly 8.4 million people have downloaded. India is becoming a big center of app activity, you all know that. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this robust nature of India's digital profile, in spite of weaknesses, in spite of poverty in some villages, in spite of lack of not very effective internet in some villages, yet people have adopted technology. And why? They are convinced that with a phone in their hand, a better future awaits them. That is India's story of mobile networking and computing. We are very happy. I will never say all the work is done, but India is on the path of progress. Mobile connectivity, mobile services, and the resulting networking is bringing in transparency, empowerment, and a sense of fulfillment in the ordinary Indian. That is our story. I thought I must share. I'm sure the deliberations in this extraordinary Congress, the first happening in India, will bring in new insight and foresights to march forward with great enthusiasm. Thank you. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much to the Honorable Minister Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji. Folks, many of you perhaps are here for the first time, and it only makes sense to hear from the Minister himself as to why India matters in this wireless future. Thank you, sir, very much for your time today. We are told that you have many engagements and that you have to... Okay, excellent, excellent. Then we are delighted. Thank you very much for agreeing to stay on. Folks, our keynote speaker for today is someone who we are truly privileged to be able to listen to. Let me sort of put things in context as to why. And these numbers shock me as an Indian, and I think they will shock almost everybody here. Mr. Ambani is really the entrepreneur's entrepreneur in some sense, or actually in every sense. Having successfully led India's largest petrochemical company for over a decade or even longer, he's now in the midst of not only transforming his company, but also transforming the country. The vision that Mr. Ambani has, that you will hear today during his keynote, ties very closely to what he's been doing with his new avatar, which is Reliance Jio. I was studying his speeches to investors, his speeches at various conferences. I was taking notes. And here is what I've learned that I think everybody will be very impressed in learning. Just on Jio, which is just one network, every single day, there is a consumption of over 80 million gigabytes of data. Every single day. For those of us researchers who put up 50 sort of nodes in our building and assume that a gigabyte of data is great, this should really sort of shock us. In addition to this, Reliance Jio, people who are on the Reliance Jio network consume about 90 million hours of voice calls every single day. Within a very short span, less than 4 years, Jio's user base has grown to astronomical numbers, beyond 200 million. In many regards, if you look at this as a startup, which in many respects it is, these numbers are just outstanding. I have not seen in the literature these numbers in any other part of the country. And the way that this network is being built, it spans really the entire spectrum of connectivity, backed by a nationwide strong fiber optic network with state-of-the-art adoption of technology. I mean, we have 4G in more parts of India than I'm willing to bet than you have in America, with a front-end wireless network and a whole slew of services on top. The vision that Mr. Ambani espouses for a modern India is one where every corner of India, much like the minister has said, will be connected and people will avail of services. And so it's really a privilege for us to be able to have him here with us, to be able to hear him share his vision of the future of India and of wireless connectivity in India and technology in India. And with that, I would like to request Mr. Ambani to please share his thoughts with us as our first keynote speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohan, for those very kind words. Most respected Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, Shri Narayana Murthy ji, Shri Sawhney ji, Professor Saran, and my young friend Rohan, distinguished delegates, a very good morning. I feel honored and privileged to be invited to the 24th MobiCom conference. MobiCom is the world's leading forum in domains of mobile computing, networks, and algorithms. When Sri Narayana Murthy called and requested me to meet Rohan Murthy and to be the keynote speaker for MobiCon, I readily agreed. I have the highest respect for Sri Narayana Murthy for putting India on the global IT map. My hearty congratulations to Rohan, Rajiv, and the team for organizing MobiCom 2018. Rohan told me when I saw him in my office that right now he is busy disrupting the business that his father founded by using algorithms, big data, artificial intelligence to make enterprises, people, and processes far more productive. I admired Rohan for what he said. Disrupting the old and constructing the new, which is bigger and better. That is exactly the spirit of the youth of India. They are not happy being incrementally innovative, but they want to be truly disruptive. Disruption is about creating a new way of life that will make the old way of life completely obsolete. Dear friends, when the first conference of MobiCom was held in the mid-90s, I was busy in the world of energy and atoms, not in bits and bytes. It was an altogether different world then. The all-pervasive impact of mobile technologies was at best science fiction. India's GDP in the early 90s was around 350 billion. We had just come out of a severe financial crisis in 1991, and very few in the world thought that our country's prospects were bright. Today, our GDP is nearing 3 trillion. We are living in an India of unprecedented hope and promise. An India that is poised to embrace an immensely exciting future. And I am delighted that MobiCom chose to host this conference in India. So welcome to all of you. I can say with confidence that if there is one place in the world where the transformative power of digitization is breaking new ground every day, it is India. India is digitally transforming, and its digital transformation is unmatched and unprecedented anywhere in the world. As you have heard from the Honorable Minister and Rohan, in just 24 months, India has taken a leadership position in the world from being 155th in wireless broadband technology adoption and to the number 1 in the world in the last 2 years. The impact of this unprecedented growth can be seen across all digital domains. Mobile computing as a catalyst is driving massive data consumption, and this has given young Indians a fertile ground for disruptive ideas. Cloud computing and network technologies have used broadband as a foundational enabler, leading to Indian entrepreneurs starting to make a global impact. In the next 2 decades, I can confidently say that India shall be leading the world and shall contribute to the next wave of equitable global economic growth. Friends, let me tell you why I am so optimistic about India's potential. Not just optimistic, I am actually convinced. Earlier, the world had witnessed 3 industrial revolutions. The first one was powered by coal and steam. The second was fueled by electricity and oil. And the third used electronics and information technology. During the first 2 revolutions, India languished on the fringes. It started playing catch-up in the computer-driven third industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution is now upon us. It is marked by a fusion of technologies straddling the physical, digital, and the biological worlds. And I can say with full confidence that India has a chance of not just participating in the fourth industrial revolution, but also leading it. And I say this because of 3 main reasons. First, the India of today is remarkably different from the India of yesterday. The India of today is a very young nation, in fact, the youngest in the world. 63% of our 1.3 billion population are aged below 35. India's vast, tech-savvy young population is its key strength. Just imagine the kind of connected intelligence India can create if the power of a billion-plus mind is combined. Our nation is more vibrant and ambitious than ever before on the back of its youthful energy and enterprise. Second, India is a democracy and is run on the model of equitable and inclusive growth with society-wide culture of empathy. We have the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. During the past few years, he has galvanized India. He has launched more number of transformational schemes than in a comparable period anywhere in the world. Digital India is his vision, which was started by our Honorable Minister when he was Minister of Telecom. And I still remember the day when we launched Digital India and the minister told me that this is not the time for India and for you to be meek. So do not hesitate in investing whatever it takes for Digital India to succeed. And I am glad that I took his advice. And today, where we are where we are. India is openly embracing the digital technologies of tomorrow. With world-class digital infrastructure in place, each one of the 1.3 billion people of India can now productively participate in the fourth industrial revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the developed economies talking about population coverage of 4G. With the initiatives of the government, India and Indian population, 99.9% of the 1.3 billion people of India will have high-speed data coverage by the end of 2019. And this will be far higher than any other country in the world. And this is the new world. If one determines this change has happened really in one government with one leadership and one execution in less than 4 years. And that is how fast technology is moving. With the world-class digital infrastructure in place, each one of the 1.3 billion people of India can now productively participate in the fourth industrial revolution. We can solve the biggest unsolved problems facing humanity right here in India. Third, India is a rich and fertile ground for entrepreneurship. It has already succeeded in creating a healthy ecosystem to nurture entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs. Most significantly, India has emerged as the fastest growing startup base worldwide. Today, our nation is home to the third largest number of technology-driven startups in the world. Never before has India witnessed such an explosion of entrepreneurial spirit. Dear friends, how can India rise to its full potential, to its desired eminence? There are four major areas which India needs to focus on and embrace. First, we need to prepare ourselves for a period of information and digital abundance. All Indians will have access to computing on the cloud and access to information on the planet. I am proud to say that instead of digital divide, India today is digitally united. All our 1.3 billion connected minds are going to accelerate our future. Digital platforms make it possible for many consumers to be entrepreneurs at the same time. Imagine a force of 1.3 billion network consumers and entrepreneurs having access to all the knowledge and all the computational power they want at an extremely affordable price. And also imagine the force of IoT when nearly 80 billion things worldwide join the network and begin to communicate with each other. Every single aspect of our lives, the way we earn our living or conduct our business, will undergo a sea transformation, not in 30 years, not in 20 years, but within the next decade. Early adopters will have the opportunity to leapfrog competition and create unprecedented societal value. Second, we need to adapt ourselves to the scorching pace of innovation and learn to collaborate on scale. As computational power gets faster, so do networks and sensors, AI and robotics, 3D printing, synthetic biology, AR, VR, and blockchain. All these technologies are accelerating in speed, rate, and power. You could be an expert in any one of these, but it's the convergence of 2 or 3 or 4 of these that's transforming existing ways of working, which means collaborations will become both a necessity and a requirement for success. You may have a brilliant idea, and that has the potential to disrupt an industry. But to do so, as will 1,000 others have the same idea. We need to quickly transform the idea into breakthrough innovation. And in order to do that, you have to master the art of collaboration with your peers anywhere in India or in the world, pooling your ideas and leveraging all your competencies. In the digital world, none of us is as smart as all of us put together. Third, we have to shift from a system of time-bound education to a model of continuous learning. Now it is both possible and necessary to reorient education for this new kind of productive and creative opportunities. We have to groom our children to be digitally savvy right from school. Schools should train students in the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. These are the skills required to build the foundation for sustained leadership in the digital age for India. Within a single generation, we can empower and enrich our vast and young human resources to give India a competitive edge in the world. The fourth major task is closely linked to the third. It is to ensure that the new and disruptive technologies create more employment opportunities than they take away. I have no doubt that they will. However, there is a lot of apprehension to this goal, and these very apprehensions could resist or delay digital transformation of our societies. That would be a mistake. Therefore, governments, businesses, and civil society organizations should put together an ecosystem for massive upskilling of workforce. Significantly, most of the upskilling can happen on digital platforms. Dear friends, we now have the opportunity to digitally reinvent all sectors of our economy, be it financial services, commerce, manufacturing, agriculture, education, and healthcare. India can leapfrog competition and lead the world in each one of these sectors. Let me focus on three important sectors: agriculture, education, and healthcare. First, I have chosen agriculture because we cannot ignore the reality of the underdevelopment in rural India. Over 60% of Indians still live in villages, and by 2050, there will be 300 million more Indians to feed. Today, our average farm yields are about 20 to 30% of the best global yields. There is both a pressing need and a golden opportunity to create a digital green revolution, an evergreen revolution. India has an unprecedented opportunity to create wealth and new knowledge, rich livelihood opportunities in rural areas. By encouraging adoption of technologies for water conservation and management, precision farming, waste reduction to enhance agricultural productivity. I am sure that if we combine digital technology tools and the innate knowledge and wisdom of the Indian farmer, we can usher in an evergreen revolution. The second big digital opportunity is in education. India's youth is our biggest asset, but we need a good quality education for all to make them a productive asset. We need digital tools and innovations to break geographical, social, language, and economic barriers. 58,000 colleges and over 700 universities and 1.9 million schools in India will be digitally connected, with Geo playing a leadership role in connecting all these educational institutions. Any student, even in a remote village, can have access to the best teachers and the latest knowledge in the world. AI-based smart assistants can bring personalized learning adapted to the needs of each student, and which can in fact overcome the gaps and the constraints of classroom education. Like any age, any time, and any subject, learning in any language. Thirdly, healthcare is a basic human right for every Indian. Our purpose is to ensure affordable and quality healthcare to all, which is both a national necessity and a national responsibility. For the first time in history, this has become possible because of digital technologies, accessible even in remote locations. Today, constraints of budget, physical infrastructure, and trained personnel make it difficult to deliver quality healthcare to India's large and growing population. India can overcome these constraints by adopting digital tools and innovations. As in education, the best doctors and the best diagnostic facilities can become accessible to all citizens anywhere in the country. India can design a path-breaking and affordable healthcare system that will be a model for the rest of the world. Similar disruptive and scale opportunities exist in India in virtually every domain. And I can safely predict that from now on, every new generation of Indians will live a better, longer, and more fulfilling life than previous generations. Friends, Reliance is a proud participant in India's rise and privileged to serve this new India. I have been fortunate to participate in building global scale Reliance businesses in energy, information, and digital services. Geo, our youngest and fastest growing venture, has been conceived not as a business, but as a digital movement. It is on a mission of making digital life a reality for 1.3 billion Indians. While India has pole vaulted into global leadership in the mobile broadband space, we still lag behind in the fixed line broadband. India is ranked quite low at 134th in global ranking for fixed broadband. Geo is determined to move India to among the top 3 in fixed broadband in the coming years. Our state-of-the-art digital infrastructure provides mobile and broadband connectivity across the country with the largest fiber optic footprint. We will now extend this fiber connectivity to homes, merchants, small and medium enterprises, and large enterprises simultaneously across 1,500 cities to offer the most advanced fiber-based broadband connectivity solutions in the world. For the 30 million small merchants and businesses, this will provide them the agility and the customer obsession of a small, owner-driven business and simultaneously provide them the tools and capability of the best in the world to compete on level terms with all large businesses. The success of Indian small businesses and small merchants translates directly into faster and more sustainable growth with large-scale employment for the Indian economy. Friends, in conclusion, MobiCom technologies have inaugurated a new era in the history of human race. Across the world, the digital era is dispelling despair and bringing new hope. For the first time, we can make poverty a thing of the past and provide the fruits of prosperity for the entire world. A better world is indeed possible. Each one of us should work together in a spirit of partnership to make this optimism come true. I am confident that when MobiCom returns to India to hold its conference a decade later, you are bound to see India's digital dreams come true. With these words, I wish each and every one of you the very best of success for the first ever MobiCom 2018 conference in India and wish you a good conference. We are also nearing our festival of lights in India, which we call Diwali, where we celebrate the victory of good over evil. So let me wish each and every one of you a happy Diwali, and thank you very much for being in India.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambani, for helping us have a sense of purpose and context for all the research that we do and the potential impact it can have on over 1 billion people here and perhaps billions everywhere else too. So thank you very much for your address. I'd like to invite the founder really and the doyen of our community of research, Victor Bal, to deliver the vote of thanks to our guest of honor today. Victor.
Hi. So I just want to say just a few words. Honorable Mr. Prasad, Mr. Mukesh, Dr. Narayana Murthy, who I've known for a while, and Sri Sawhney, and Hazur, who is also a colleague and a friend from a long time ago. Thank you very much for being here. I also want to thank you, Rohan and Rajiv, for making all this possible. I think this is incredible that we stand here with some of the greatest thought leaders of our time who have transformed this massive country into something just great. It is true, this is the first time we are here. This is my home country, this is my birthplace. I was born in Delhi, I still have a house here. So for the longest time, I've had this craving to bring MobiCom here. And I must say, many years I thought about this and we thought about this, but I thought that this year was perfect, having seen and noticing all the different changes. And for example, the Digital India is an awesome initiative. I think it's going to help India leapfrog over many, many other countries. I think what you have done with Reliance, making it possible for just the average citizen to be able to have a phone to communicate and to do business is phenomenal. And of course, Dr. Narayana Murthy, you are a pioneer of sort, and I've had the privilege of mentoring your son, who himself is quite awesome, and I think will create a legacy of his own as well. So, having said this, I want to sort of tell you just a little bit. I won't take too much time because we have to go on to the program. But this is a celebration. It's a celebration event. We celebrate the best of the best in wireless and mobile technologies. You have heard in the morning from the general chairs and the program chairs the amazing people who have been given awards here or will be given awards in the next several days. The kind of work that they have done, which has transformed the entire world, the fundamentals that they have developed and the problems they have identified, the solutions they have created, that's what then leads to this kind of explosion of technology and adoption of technology, as well as making us much more efficient and life much more better. The interesting thing as I was watching and listening here was that here you have people that represent industry, they represent the government, and of course academia. And nothing gets done without the intersection of these three bodies of work. And I have seen this in the US, for example, how well they have been able to exploit or work with research to be able to create these disruptions you were talking about. So I would ask you, and in fact I would implore you, that one way to think about the future, as the future is invented, is to create partnerships with the research community, to be able to sort of get on top of this stuff, not follow in terms of creating technologies that others have done, but essentially become a partner and understand and then exploit or explore and get from this community, all the great stuff that is happening. And so, for example, I'll take two examples from my own past. One of them involves Rohan himself, which is that in the United States, we had a spectrum crisis, and as part of the spectrum crisis, we identified that there was a way to actually get spectrum and then provide access all over the world to people in a very inexpensive manner. And so we worked hand in hand with the government of the United States, the FCC in particular. Rohan actually got his PhD working on that project, and it actually won the Best Paper Award too in one of the conferences almost 10 years ago. And this was the emergence of white spaces. What that led to then was in Africa, we were able to connect hundreds of thousands of students who had never seen the light of day in terms of internet. They didn't even know what internet was. And then even in the United States, the most developed country in the world, Microsoft now has a program called Airband, where they're going to get 2 million people who don't have broadband access because of this thing. And this actually came from the research community and from the research and the government and industry all working together. Now looking forward, there are many, many interesting concepts that we're going to talk about here. in the next several days. Edge computing is one of them. Then cloudification of the telcos is another one. So as you think about driving the cost down to make it accessible, you also think about how can we do more and more in software? How can we try to commoditize the hardware? Because if you can actually go and take all the things that were traditionally done in hardware in software, you can create a level of innovation, and you can create more entrepreneurs, and you can create all these disruptions that you're talking about. And these are very, very new concepts. These are not even the US. They're all being discussed here in the next several days, and there are test beds and all. So that's what I mean, that if you sort of work together with this community, you can, given your savviness, given your experience, given your knowledge, you can take these things from the lab to the scale that we will all be very impressed with. So with that, I must say, I was sitting next to the chair of the Signal while I used to be the chair a while ago, so I understand his position very well. So he kept nudging me again and again to tell you about all the amazing things this is doing, and asked you to keep sponsoring events like ours. So there you go, Marco. I just fulfilled my obligation to you. But with that, I actually once again want to thank you for taking time out. And I know, and we all realize how precious that time is and how much pressures you have in different directions. But you still took the time out to talk to us, gave some inspirational ideas, and you told us how great India is. And for that, I would like all of us to applaud our guests in a way that befits MobiCom's applause. So now we have a few mementos that we just want to give to our guests, just as a token of appreciation, as well as something that they can remember us by. So I'm going to invite, I guess, Rajiv and Rohan in order. So would you please, Rajiv, would you please come in and give something to Prasad, Honorable Mr. Prasad. Rajiv, could you also give it to Shri Sawhney? Rohan, would you give it to Mr. Ambani? Rajiv, Shri Murthy. And Rajiv, Azur. Shri Saran. I think of him as a friend of mine, so it's hard for me to. Okay, so with that, our opening session is closed. Thank you very much for being.